Do you remember my live presentation for Laura where I showed an image that was on a phone with some drops on and it gave a nice mirror effect? I'm going to do the same thing in this video, but this time it's going to be with a jumping spider and an iPad. Hello, my name's Stuart Wood and welcome to this video. So let's get the sad news over with, and the sad news is that Susan has passed away from old age. I commented a few times how older spiders, they don't run around, they don't jump off stuff, and as it turned out she was getting old. She stopped climbing onto her cage, she stopped feeding, and she has passed away from old age. So because I am a channel for macro photography and primarily we use jumping spiders to test out new lenses and new equipment, I have had to go ahead and purchase some new spiders. So I got these spiders from spoodernest.com, and I said to Maria, who does the breed, and I said I need an older spider. I need some spiders that have different ages so they all don't drop dead at the same time. And she has sent a beautiful adult female regal jumping spider, and we're going to take her out of the enclosure. I'm going to show you what happens when the spider is not used to you. She could do anything. I don't know the personality of the spider. So we are going to have a fun photo shoot, photographing her on this iPad so we get this nice reflective surface. But let's get started with this photo shoot. So the first thing I need to do is to clean this iPad. Now this is a really old iPad. It's got scratches all over it and that. So it's not the ideal solution. If you want to try this at home, I would suggest you get a black acrylic sheet. That is what I've seen as being the best for doing this type of photography. Now with this being an iPad, it has multiple layers of glass inside here, which means we're going to get a main reflection, but then we're also going to get some other additional reflections in there, which depending on your taste, it might not be what you want. So if you want just a single reflection, a single piece of black acrylic, from what I've seen from my research, is the best thing for the job. Now first of all, I'm going to give this a clean because my daughter has been using it. Since it's an old iPad, it's redundant, it doesn't get used for anything no more. One more sheet just to dry it off. We want it to be really, really clean. And it doesn't matter how clean you are, you're still going to get little bits on there that you are going to have to clean up in Photoshop. So next we need a background. I'm going to use this nice bright colour here. We have a mixture of greens and yellows, and this is from my spring and summer collection pack. Link in the description if you want to go and check out these textures, and I appreciate everybody who has brought these textures. You are helping to keep the channel alive. Helps me to bring you more videos and more free content. So let's get this hooked up. Okay, now unfortunately over the overhead you can't really see much. Let me adjust it. So I've just adjusted the overhead so that you can see a better angle, because I want the edge of the iPad against the edge of the desk so as I can get the lens right up against the iPad. If I have the iPad further back, I'm looking down on my subject and I don't really want that. So let's talk about equipment. So I've been asked why am I not using the MPE 65mm lens. Simple answer is I've been given these lenses by Laura to review, so I like to use them before I put out the review so that you get a real world review of these lenses, not just me reading off a spec sheet. So this is the RF version of the Laura 100mm macro lens, but we're not going to be using that one in this video. We're going to be using this one. This one is the EF version of the macro lens. As promised, Laura have delivered and I want to thank them for that. And I've had a lot of questions about the difference between them. As simple put, this one has auto aperture, that one does not. And I've done a quick test and the sharpness is exactly the same on both lenses. So whichever one you buy will all depend on whether you want auto aperture or not. And I can tell you right now, I have purchased this lens. This lens is not going back to Laura. So with me, I also have a new diffuser from Crafty Bells. I got together with Crafty Bells and I gave them some feedback about my setup, the particular setup I use, and they've designed a new diffuser specifically for the Trim Macro Flash that has smaller ends on here so that you can get in closer to your subject and you're not bouncing your diffuser off the subject. So I'm going to be fully testing this out Another improvement that they've done is they've put on an anti-slip material on here and an elastic to give it some strength and to stop it just popping off. So we're going to be giving that a quick test. Okay, so there we go. You can see that's on there without any Velcro, which is very, very useful. So just repeat myself, I have the Canon EOS R, the EF version of the Laowa 100mm 2x macro lens. I have the Yongnuo YN24EX set to TTL +2, and we have the new Crafty Bells diffuser just there. For my settings, I am going to be using 1/60th of a second because it's the flash that actually freezes the action. I'm at ISO 100 and I'm going to select, let's try F14 to begin with. Again, we will most likely need to adjust these settings. These are just ballpark figures that I know from my experience. So it's time to get our new gorgeous jumper out of her enclosure. Now, because this jumper I have never held her before, all I did was transfer her to a new enclosure, that is it, and she was very skittish. So I've got myself a pillow, okay? I'm placing that down here, which you can probably just about see off the overhead camera there. And that is, if she decides to do a kamikaze off the iPad and onto the pillow, then she's not going to hurt herself. I've had a lot of messages off people saying their jumpers won't keep still, they keep moving all over the place. The fact of the matter is, you've got no choice but to be patient. You can't force a jumper to just sit there. The way I do it is I just handle the jumpers every other day, mostly when it's feeding time. Another tip I can give you is to not try and photograph them on their feeding day. I always photograph mine after they have fed, so therefore they're not hunting around looking for prey. But let's get this new jumper out. She is very skittish. This jumper I do not know, so it's like a puppy. You've got to get used to them. They have to get used to you. There we go, and she's legging it. And you can see there, Susan wouldn't do that. But again, she's new, so she doesn't know what's going on. Okay, so she doesn't want to come into my hand. That's, again, something I'm going to have to train into her to know that my hands are not a danger and that she can just come onto them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use one of my background cards. And I can scoop it up onto there quite happily, look. And she's absolutely gorgeous. This is a Philippus Regius Florida variant, but she's got pale colours. Now, most of the females I've had, they've got orange colours, so this one is a little bit unusual that I haven't seen one like this before. And again, all I'm going to do is just watch her, and what I want her to do is I want her to see that I'm not a threat. I'm not going to be endangering her, and eventually she will calm down. Now, this isn't something that can happen overnight. It's going to take weeks and weeks and weeks. And what I can tell you is the younger you get your spider, the better it will be, because if I'd had this from when it was a spiderling, it would already be used to me by now. Okay, and she's got webbing all over the place already. Let's move the webbing over there. Again, you've got to rub your fingers like this to break the webbing, getting the webbing off the iPad because it's gathering up on the iPad. I'm going to try and get a picture of her. I'm going to hazard a guess that she's not going to keep still, because I can see her, she's backing off. She's very, very nervous when it comes to the camera. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to photograph her from a distance and then crop in post. Okay, that's very dark. Let's put it up to +3. So you can see there how she has settled down over time. Now, she's in the wrong place because she's too close to the background. You can see that line on the image. So I need to move her forward if we can without spooking her too much. And she's not in position. Okay. See if we can get a quick picture now. It all depends on your spider, how used the spider is to you, okay? So you can see there, she's just all over the place, okay? Now we had this with Fidget, if you remember, and no matter what I did, I could not get Fidget to get used to me at all. She doesn't mind going onto the card, but my fingers, she really doesn't like going on them. Oh, in you go. Okay, so I've had her for about a day now, and that's the first time I've held her. Okay, so you can see how she's running all over the place, which is probably the same as what your jumping spiders are doing. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch over to Bungie, which, as you know, we had a couple of months ago, and I will show you the difference now between Bungie and her after you've handled your spider and it's used to you. You can see the difference between a spider that's used to you and a spider that's not. The new spider, is no way she would sit there in my hand like that. So the answer to anyone who's asking, how do you get spiders to sit still? It's simple. Handling. Keep handling them. Keep getting them out of the enclosures. If you suffer from arachnophobia, there's not much you can do. You're going to have to put up with a skittish spider. But if you can handle them, get them out and handle them, play with them, they'll soon get used to and you'll be able to photograph them. So here's a black spider. So I've gone to a manual flash at 1/8 power because we need to get those dark areas in him because he's black. We need to light those up. And unfortunately, the exposure compensation isn't going to go up enough. Beautiful. It is going to need some cleanup in Photoshop. Yeah, so there you go. Jumping spiders on a reflective surface, and also tips on how to calm down your jumping spiders so that you can handle them and photograph them. So the image I've taken today, I'm actually going to edit live on YouTube. Now, if you're watching this, you've already missed the YouTube live. But if you want to see the editing, go to the YouTube live tab in my YouTube page, and you'll see a section for YouTube lives. And if you don't want to miss any of the YouTube lives, then do click subscribe and click the bell icon so you can get notified of when new videos come up. Here are my favourite images from this photo session. All these images have been edited in Lightroom using my macro presets and cleaned up in Photoshop. Again, check out the YouTube live, you'll see how I edited those images. So the new jumping spider, she runs around a lot, she's scared, she's going to calm down in time. And who do we know from films and TV that first of all was scared but then became calm, got tough, got mean? I think we're going to name that jumping spider Ripley. So that's it, jumping spiders on a reflective surface. Let me know what you thought of this video down in the comment section below. If you have any questions, then hook me up on social media. I can't really keep up with the comments on YouTube. If you send me a message through my Facebook page or through Instagram, you can get an answer there a lot quicker. But for now, I want to thank you for getting to the end of this video, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. I want to do the same, but this time I'm going to use an iPad. I'm going to show you some is the best thing, since it's an old so that is going to be getting replaced, so that's going to get replaced. What I can tell you is if lower ever, I don't need none of that. The way I do it, touch my microphone again, if I'd had this one from say, you know, an elf, and again, as for the low, okay, maybe we should name our next male jumper Hicks or Hudson. But Hudson might do a swan dive off the desk and go underneath the floorboards.